Hello and welcome to the TechBytes audiocast. My name's Tim and I'm from the TechBytes blogazine, and with me is Dr. Roy Shestowitz from the TechBytes website.
It's Friday night and I'm gonna get sauce. I fought the troll and the troll lost. I fought the troll and the troll lost. He tried to boss me and was outbossed. I fought the troll and the troll lost. I fought the troll and the troll lost. Underneath his creeper bridge, hoping goats will cross. Quoting Ashcroft and Tom Ridge, I fought the troll and the...
Right, welcome to episode 12 of the TechBytes audiocast. I'm Tim and I'm here with Roy and Gordon. Today's discussion is going to be all about Novell. I think that goes without saying. It's been all in the news over the last few days. So without further ado, we'll go straight over to Roy, who's going to kick off the discussion with a few things that he wants to point out from the beginning of the show.
Alright, so how should I put this? Yesterday, I think it was 9 a.m., the Eastern Time in the US, when Novell basically decided to announce that it was going to be sold to a certain company nobody's heard about, but was expected to take over Novell. If anybody's paid attention to one report from the, I think the New York Times, from a couple of months ago, the surprise here was that the VMware arrangement with this company to basically one company takes SUSE and one company takes the rest, wasn't quite what happened. What actually happened here is that the patents went to Microsoft, or went to a consortium organized by Microsoft, which is a nice way of saying, well, Microsoft did not actually receive the patents. It's just some sort of an independent thing that was created to take the patents, so antitrust scrutiny will not be in place. The other company, which again nobody's heard of, is basically inheriting all these assets. And this company is also funded by the same person who caused Novell to be put for sale in the first place when he put a bid on Novell back, I think, in March. That's a person called Zinger. He works with his Elliott Associates. So I wrote about almost 20 posts so far since yesterday afternoon. And I was trying to look at the different aspects of that and how it affects things. And it's a pretty major thing in all sorts of ways for Microsoft, for free software in general, not just GNU/Linux, but even BSDs and all sorts of distributions in Unix, because apparently Microsoft could be inheriting Unix in this case, and that affects the SCO case. It's a pretty major thing. I'm not sure. We haven't actually planned how to cover this. I suppose I should pass it to Tim or to Gordon in this case, and maybe.
Well, what I was going to suggest, Roy, I had a few emails that I haven't had a chance to fully read yet, but a lot of people listening to the show haven't maybe followed the patent subject for a long time, and certainly maybe not even looked at Novell subject for a while. Obviously, you used to run the site Boycott Novell, which was changed to TechBytes.
We still run the site. I should say Tech people think it was a rename, but we still have both sites running, and they can functionally access both. Boycott Novell just becomes one among several parts of the TechBytes umbrella, because the site was all over the place in terms of topics, and we did not only cover Novell, so...
Well, what I think would be wise to start off with, Roy, is obviously you're the resident expert here, and I think you've covered these subjects in more depth for longer than anybody else. So maybe if you would start off by explaining to the average user what this means, what this deal means for them, and what's happened over the last few days, how it may affect them in the future.
Probably won't affect the users so much. It could affect developers or affect vendors of... Well, it could affect Canonical and Red Hat, obviously. Red Hat has officially declined to comment on this thing, but certain Red Hat employees have said things about it on a personal kind of my opinion basis. And they aren't happy about it for obvious reasons. And I think that's one of the worst situation or the outcomes that could come about. Microsoft couldn't quite take over Novell, but you have Stephen from Computer World saying that basically Microsoft took over Novell within the within the capacity it can, if it does not want to have barriers like antitrust and also they get the beef of Novell to Microsoft, at least, is patents and Unix and all kinds of so-called intellectual property, weapons with which they can attack not just Novell, but all kinds of distributions. So to the average user, it probably won't mean so much, but it doesn't actually affect the development of the platform so much. But it affects the distribution of things, it affects the stories of how vendors interact and how Microsoft talks to a company like Red Hat, and it can try and extort them using patents which, they used to claim were infringed. Now they have some of these patents which could actually apply and be used against all sorts of companies as tools of negotiation. So-called negotiation means it's actually extortion, or tools of actually doing a lawsuit.
Well, as a starting point, because this is such a massive subject, and it's only just occurred over the last few days, we've got the bonus of a little bit of hindsight now, because we didn't have a show on the day that this news broke. But I think it's important for everybody to keep in mind that the news is going to continue coming in for probably a very long time after today. Just as a starting point, maybe, if we want to look at the price that Attachmate acquired, I believe it was £6.10 a share. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Roy, if you want to go into further detail about that, or maybe branch off into the subject that you wanted to speak about in regards to this.
We haven't prepared any. We haven't outlined this discussion, I think. But one interesting thing is when the hedge fund, or as it's actually called, the vulture fund, Elliott was trying to buy Novell back in March. I'm pretty sure it was March, sometime at the end of March. They put it for around the same price. Novell basically rejected and declined to sell itself to this company. And now for just about the same price, they do sell themselves, having actually said that the price wasn't high enough. So it kind of says, well, Novell could just sell the company before, and they were just kind of pretending not to be interested at this price, or maybe they didn't find companies willing to pay more. So at some stage, reportedly around, I think August or September, it was rumored or confirmed almost by the Wall Street Journal that Novell was talking to around 20 companies about selling the company, but it's really a complicated process because they have such a diverse portfolio of proprietary and free software projects, and some of them conflicting for some companies. So it was hard to sell the company to just one other company.
Before we go over to Gordon, because I'm being very remiss here, and Gordon's been put to one side for a minute. For people that haven't been following these topics in much detail, we're talking now about CPTN Holdings, and the description of it is a consortium of technology companies organised by Microsoft Corporation. You're the expert here in regards to this, Roy, I'd consider. So could you explain for everybody else what that actually means, a consortium of technology companies organised by Microsoft?
I have a question to you, though, because I'm not quite so sure, and I haven't researched this so have you looked at the age of this thing, or this entity, or shell, or some call it proxy, or it might be interesting to.
I haven't researched it. I mean, the news for me obviously came. I briefly glanced at it yesterday prior to my full-time day job. And then obviously I've just been picking up bits, obviously the last few hours prior to coming here. And it was just a couple of points which I would like to be clarified, because I haven't had the time to look at, and wondered if anybody else, maybe Gordon, might be able to elaborate either on what it actually means.
Me? Yeah. No, sorry. I don't know where to start with this, really, to keep it in some sort of logical order for the episode. I mean, the news hit yesterday, and it was all over the news about Novell being bought by this unknown company. But the key thing that kept cropping up, that people kept redenting and mentioning in IRC all over the place, the three words was led by Microsoft. That was it. It kept going over and over and over, led by Microsoft, which sort of says, look, all of Novell's